I've known the guys at Mademoiselle Desserts for probably three and a half years now, and I knew them when they were European desserts, so they're a great business. I admire them very much, and they are looking to build a European-wide dedicated dessert business. So it was a natural conversation that we would have had with them when I first bought Ministry back from Greencore in 2014. And of all the possible people that I think we could have transferred the ownership of Ministry to, Mademoiselle Desserts to me were the obvious fit. I have this morning had a letter from Downing Street. It was unexpected, the mention in Parliament. Our local MP Rebecca Pow, who we know well, clearly chose to use us to mention, to prove a point about business and business prosperity in the Southwest. So we didn't know it was going to happen. If I look at my Google feed and analytics of you'll know website analytics, the spike in page views after the mention in the Houses of Parliament was hilarious, and it's gone. I think there was a point on that Wednesday we were one of the top 10 trending items in Twitter in the UK as people struggled to find out who Ministry of Cake were. We only transferred ownership 23rd of December, and so we're in the initial planning about how the businesses might work together. So what are we going to be saying to customers? Staff, it's a relatively easy message. The business is being run, as it stands, as an independent but interdependent business. We've got two sister companies, which is always a nice thing to have in a marketplace. One in Maidenhead and one in Corby, Mademoiselle Desserts Corby, and Handmade Cake Company in Maidenhead, and increasingly I anticipate us working more closely with them in things like procurement, technical resource, HR and personnel. But in terms of individual businesses, I think to a large extent customers will still see us as Ministry of Cake, albeit part of a bigger group.
And you previously talked about the company's plans to grow the sites to £40 million. How do you plan to do that?
Well, I think 40 is our next stage. We think we can go beyond there, and I think, albeit with a bit of capacity work, we think we can get both Ministry of Cake and Ministry of Pudding up to probably nearer 50. In terms of growing to 40, which is a 10 million jump from where we are now, but I mean, it was only a couple of years ago we were 20, and when I first came here we were 6, so our trajectory is pretty well proven. I think it's going to come from 3 areas. We are just launching this year a new range of tray-baked products under Department of Trade Bake, which you're very welcome to try in a few seconds, and they've gone live. We've had a really good reception to them, both branded Department of Trade Bake and own label, so a large chunk of our growth we forecast coming from that. Second bit of it, we've increasingly had more success, and I know we'll clearly talk about Brexit, but we've had a success exporting products outside the UK and into Europe and beyond. And then we've got a brilliant set of customers here in the UK who we've worked with for a really long time, and actually now we've got the sort of size of portfolio that I've always wanted in what we can make, everything from cakes through to pastry and cheesecakes. I think our view is there is still some fairly substantive growth to go for in the UK. We've got South Africans working here, Indians, you name it. I want the government to very quickly move on guaranteeing their rights to remain to work here. And I think that will be relatively easy to get. The more difficult question, and I suspect what's behind your question, is how do we recruit for the future? Now, the Times yesterday had a header, front page header, David Davies saying, we're going to be using labour from the European market for some time to come yet. There's no easy exit plan here. I think something like 65 to 70% of all hospitality staff in London are from outside the UK. There are some major ramifications for the UK baking industry and for food production generally. Ultimately, I suppose what we've got with Mademoiselle Desserts is the best of both worlds. If the nightmare vision happens and trade barriers go flying up and tariffs get introduced, then we've got production ability in France if we need it for European customers that want it.